Why is his weapon so different from almost everyone else's? Why does he talk like that when he clearly understands different languages? Is Chewbacca his actual given name? We take a deep dive into Star Wars lore to find out what makes this Wookiee tick. Wookiees can be found throughout the galaxy, but they originally hail from the forest planet of Kashyyyk. Their trademark fur is known to repel water, which is good because Kashyyyk has a lot of swampy areas. Wookiees are only physically able to communicate in Shriwook, which is that majestic Wookiee sound we all know and love. But they can understand a variety of languages, and that comes as no surprise because they have a lot of time to study since they live a ridiculously long time. In 2018's Solo, Chewbacca says that he's 190 years old. That means in the later films, he'd be in his 230s. As far as Chewie's real name goes, don't worry about it, you'd never be able to pronounce it. Chewie's family is featured in several books, but none of the films. So even though it may or may not be canon, the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special was an infamous landmark in Star Wars history because it's the moment we meet Chewbacca's family for the first time. The plot, strange as it is, Chewbacca's wife Mala, father Itchy, and son Lumpy spend the show anxiously waiting for Chewie and Han to return to Kashyyyk for Life Day. But before they get back, stormtroopers raid the family's treetop home. Lumpy scrambles to lure the stormtroopers away, succeeding with all but one. Finally, when Han and Chewie show up, Lumpy has to watch Han blast the final stormtrooper right before his eyes. If this holiday special plot sounds a little out of the box, well, that's because it definitely is. The takeaway, though, is that Chewie has a family, and he almost never mentions them. He leaves his wife and son for years on end to have space adventures with a strange human. Plus, his exploits make his family a target of the Empire. We can't imagine he has many #1 dad mugs in his cabinets, so why did he take off for so long? There are a few species in the Star Wars universe that believe in the concept of a life debt, and one of them is Wookiees. This is the reason many fans speculate why Chewbacca stuck around with Han Solo for as long as he did, even ignoring his own family to do so. In fact, Chewie's life debt to Han is hinted at in the Legends book series too. It says that Chewbacca owes Han his freedom, and therefore his time and loyalty. By the way, the other notable Star Wars species that believe in the concept of a life debt? According to The Phantom Menace, it's the Gungans, the species of Jar Jar Binks. So, when did his life debt start? When a young Han Solo is captured and thrown into a pit to be fed to the Beast in Solo, things look pretty bleak, until that carnivorous monster turns out to be none other than Chewbacca. Yep, Han Solo was Chewbacca's breakfast, and Chewie's been following that uneaten meal around for the majority of his life. But how did Han avoid getting eaten? Well, when confronted by the Wookiee, he was only able to save himself by speaking Shriwook, Chewie's native language, and convincing him that they could escape together. Since Chewie's compassion outweighed his hunger, he risked trusting Han and took off. Fortunately, it all worked out. Just goes to show that sometimes you should play with your food after all. Like many characters in the Star Wars universe, Chewbacca has known galactic conflict for pretty much all his life. Although he spent some of his time as a smuggler, Chewbacca was front and center during the Battle of Kashyyyk, the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War, and the First Order Resistance War. He has also been imprisoned and had to witness the enslavement of his people. That can't be easy to cope with. Legends refers to any official Star Wars book or backstory released before 2014, and in one of them, 1999's The New Jedi Order, Vector Prime, Chewie actually dies. While on a shipping mission, Chewbacca and Han discover that a moon is about to crash into the planet they're on. While they succeed in saving thousands of lives in an evacuation attempt, tragedy strikes as Chewbacca gets crushed by the moon while saving Han's son. Han has such a hard time accepting Chewie's death that he even considers his son partially responsible and has a hard time forgiving him, although the two eventually reconcile. It's a particularly jarring experience that many fans struggle with. Fortunately, it's not considered canon, but you can go back and read the Legends books for even more details about the whole story. Dejarik is a holographic chess-like game, and notably one of Chewbacca's favorites. In the films, we get to see just how poorly Chewbacca handles Dejarik's setbacks and losses. The first time the game appeared was in 1977's A New Hope, where we hear C-3PO's famous line,
"I suggest a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win."
Han even jokes that Chewie will pull people's arms out if he loses.
It's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
In both his games against R2-D2 and against Tobias Beckett in Solo, Chewbacca just can't accept defeat. Instead, he wails and pounds his fists. He gets so upset with Beckett in particular that he even attempts to sweep holographic pieces off the board. And in 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, Chewbacca can't handle being accused of cheating even as a joke. Lightsabers are the signature weapon of Star Wars, so it can be hard to imagine our heroes fighting with anything but. However, a few characters do break the mold. Chewbacca's weapon, for instance, is a bowcaster, which is basically a crossbow that shoots lasers. Traditionally, a bowcaster is handcrafted by its Wookiee owner, so as such, they tend to vary in their construction, although they do always seem to be some sort of crossbow. Chewie's is particularly special though, improving upon previous designs by using elements from stormtrooper weapons to create a more efficient version than its traditional counterparts. But his tech skills don't end there. We know Chewbacca is a solid navigator, pilot, and co-pilot, but he's also a highly skilled engineer. In the Legends timeline, Chewbacca began repairing vehicles as a child, and even fashioned a transmitter out of random parts from a destroyed transport vessel in the Clone Wars animated series. He seems to have at least a cursory knowledge of most of the machinery we see on screen. In 1980's The Empire Strikes Back, he repairs C-3PO with apparent ease. We've seen him work on ships as well. Chewie is truly a jack of all trades. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Star Wars are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.